Wow, this is pretty incredible here. I'm hoping I've got the bandwidth to make this work. I'm going live on three separate channels right now: YouTube, which is here, then Facebook, which is here, and then what is this? This is Facebook again on another page. This is pretty amazing. As I said, one would think I know what I'm doing, but we'll see how this turns out. This is going to be pretty fun. So, hey guys, Antonio Thornton, the Profit Engineer, here with another exciting video for you today. I got $50 in the mail today. Whoop whoop! And whereas $50 is always a wonderful thing, it was a really interesting scenario around it, and why I wanted to even bring it up in the first place, because of course there's a wonderful lesson involved. So I ended up going to a Jeep dealership this past weekend, and I had a really odd scenario. And in that, and I know you're wondering, why are you going to a Jeep dealership? Well, so my daughter has become fascinated and completely enamored with Jeeps, to the point where we're driving down the street. Oh, there's Jeep, and then there's a Jeep. So it's a thing. It's a thing, if you could imagine what that's like. So what I ended up doing is saying, well, hey, listen, she's interested in Jeeps. She's excited about Jeeps. Let's go test drive a Jeep. What better way to experience a Jeep than to go test drive it? Because I've never really driven a Jeep before. I've been in a Jeep, but never really driven one. And even that, I was in a Jeep Cherokee, which is more like almost an SUV. Well, I guess it's an SUV. So it's very different than the actual Jeep vehicle. So I said, well, let me go test drive it. And I had a really interesting experience, really interesting scenario. So I pulled on the lot, and as always, the sales vultures come swarming. Can I help? Can I help? So then I told this one guy, it's like, I'd like to just kind of take a look and would like to test drive something. And he just kind of says, okay. So I go off to go test drive a Jeep. So we're looking at the Jeep, and the kids are like, yeah, this is really awesome. Look at the wheels, look at the lights and all this other stuff. We're excited about this Jeep. And the guy comes over, and I said, hey, we like to test drive this Jeep. And he just kind of stammers around, just kind of, well, you looking to buy a Jeep? I said, well, maybe, possibly. I mean, I like to test drive it. I've never driven a Jeep before. He goes, well, we don't really test drive. I said, wait, what? You don't test drive the Jeep? You don't test drive your vehicles? No. And I said, well, wait a minute. I said, Jeeps are, one of the most unique vehicles on the market, right? Because there's really nothing, and I think that's their thing. In matter, because I said there's nothing on the road like a Jeep. Right, it's a very unique vehicle, and it's not like buying a Toyota Corolla or something of that nature. And it's not to put down a Toyota Corolla, but is there really a difference between a Corolla and a Sentra? And it's not a whole lot of difference between those vehicles. But you test drive vehicles because you want to get a feel for them. How do they drive and all that type of stuff. So I wanted to test drive the Jeep, and the guy says, no, we don't test drive Jeeps. And I said, well, this is just really weird. And I said, well, can you really give me just an explanation of why that is? He goes, well, we don't test drive them this time of the month. And I said, well, wait a minute, you don't. I said, is it that you don't test drive them, or you don't test drive them this time of the month? And he says, well, kind of both. I said, well, what do you mean both? He says, well, when people want to buy a Jeep, they want as few miles on it as possible. I said, man, I'm talking about a test drive. I'm not talking about taking it home and taking it across state borders. I said, I want to test drive the Jeep because I've never driven one before. And he goes, well, yeah, we just don't test drive them. And he just kind of stares at me, and I'm just sitting there saying, so do I just go home? Is that what you're saying? He goes, well, do you want to buy one? I said, well, how am I going to know if I want to buy a Jeep if I can't test drive the Jeep? How am I going to know that? So he says, well, if you're going to buy one, you could test drive it. I said, okay, this is insane. In my head, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Hey, Owen just dropped in. Hey, buddy, long time, man. I keep saying I'm going to connect with you, and I keep forgetting to call. We got to connect, Owen. So good to see you, man. Good to see you. So I'm standing here. I'm completely befuddled. I can't seem to understand what's happening in this moment where he's telling me that I can't test drive the Jeep unless I'm going to buy the Jeep, but I'm not going to buy the Jeep if I can't test drive it. And then he tells me we don't test drive it this time of the month. And I said, well, is it the end of the month? Is that what it is? Because, and here's the interesting thing. It was the end of the month. I said, so if I wait until tomorrow, can I test drive the Jeep then? He says, yes. I said, okay, man, you're blowing my mind here. This is really weird. Kool-Aid. What's up, Carl? I said, man, you're blowing my mind here, buddy. I said, because first of all, you told me you don't test drive the Jeep. Then you're telling me that you don't test drive them at this time of the month. And then you're telling me that I literally, if I came back tomorrow, I could test drive the Jeep. And I'm just freaking out about how ridiculously difficult this guy is making it for me to be able to do business with them. Because, I'm thinking in my head, I will never buy a Jeep at this point, right? I will never buy a Jeep because of all that he went through. And this is what completely blew me away. This is what was like, okay, I got to go now because this doesn't make any sense. This is what he says. After telling me, 1, we don't test drive Jeeps, right? 2, we don't test drive Jeeps this time of the month. Weird. And then thirdly, if I waited until the next day, I could come back and actually test drive the Jeep. Crazy, right? That's not even half. This is where he blows me away. He says, well, if you go online and schedule a test drive, we can do the test drive. Wait a minute. You're saying I can schedule a test drive online. So I said, well, is it that you guys don't do walk up? Because I'm really trying to figure out what's going on at this point. I said, you guys just don't do walk up, test drives? Well, no, it's kind of like this. And then he tells me on top of that, well, if you do it online, you'll also get a $50 gift card. Okay. Confused at this point, confused. But that's where this came in. Lovely. So here's what I do. I'm standing there as I'm talking to the guy. I pull up the website on my phone. I schedule the test drive for the time that I'm standing there. And he gets the notification. Oh, yeah, I see that you signed up for the test drive. And guess what? He takes me on the test drive. Wow. Yeah. So I'm probably never buying a Jeep because of that ridiculous experience. And this is what I want to share with you guys for all the entrepreneurs who are out there. Don't make it difficult for people to do business with you. Make it easy for them to do business with you. Whether that means taking multiple forms of payment, cash, check, PayPal, Cash App, whatever the case may be. Make it easy for people to do business with you. Make it easier for people to find your information. So like if you've got a website, make sure that your phone number is visible. Make sure that you've got a form, something that people can fill out, that people don't have to. Hey, Ron, what's up, man? People don't have to go outside of their way to give you their money, right? Because especially now in the world that we live in with we're in a hyper competitive world now where everybody can just start a business now doing virtually anything. You have to find reasons for people to do business, or they have to find reasons to do business with you. And if you take those reasons away, then of course they will go away as well. So the lesson here, guys, is to make it easy for people to do business with you. I have no idea, and I still don't know to this day what was going on and all the details are behind why he couldn't do the test drive at first and then coming back the next day. And then he was saying, well, you could do it online. And I ended up doing it the exact same day. None of that made sense to me. But what it did was it put a bad taste in my mouth around Jeep. And it's unfortunate because I'm sure it was probably just specific to that dealership and specific to that salesperson. But now in my mind is that Jeep is difficult. That's in my mind now. And though, yeah, I'm excited and happy that I got my $50 gift card, which is what they promised, which is fantastic. It's just like, you know, am I really going to go buy a Jeep now at the end of the day? Who knows? And by the way, it's a really weird drive to Jeeps. But anyway, I'm not here to turn you on or off from Jeeps. It was just my personal experience. But the lesson here, guys, to take away is make it easy for people to do business with you, no matter what your business is. Ask someone like a friend or someone, even a stranger, hey, go to my website or call my phone. Just give me a call and find out, is it easy to do business with you or not? Because if it is difficult, guys, you're probably losing business because, again, it's too easy now for people to find a different service, a different product, instead of jumping through hoops in order to do business with you. So make it easy, not hard. All right, guys, that's it for today. And appreciate you guys joining me. Gerald just joined in. Another brilliant marketer, Gerald Bass, just joined us. So appreciate you joining me, brother. But guys, listen, money mouth marketing mastery lessons are always coming to you. And I try to do them live as much as possible. And like I said, man, this is incredible that I've got 3 streams going: YouTube, Facebook business, and on the Facebook personal page at the same time. I mean, this is incredible. So I'm going to see if I can keep this up. Who knows? All right, guys, look forward to talking with you again soon. As always, like the videos, share the videos, and comment on the videos. That's what keeps the love going around, guys. So I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for another Money Mouth Marketing Mastery video series. Talk to you soon. Take care.